Now we're going to look at combining like terms. So you can simplify an algebraic expression by combining like terms. This means to combine common variable terms and constant terms. An algebraic expression is in simplest form when it has no like terms or parentheses. For example, we're given the expression 7x plus 3 minus 5x plus 8 plus 4x minus 1. So this is where I start using that like box and circle method that I talked about earlier. And so what you do is you box in everything with a variable and you include the symbol in front of it, so that addition or subtraction sign. Then I'm going to circle everything without a variable and include all the signs in front of it. So now it's easy for me to see which ones can be combined and which ones can't. So anything boxed in, which is in green on my screen, I can combine those together. So you're going to take let me use the same color. So 7x minus 5x plus 4x, those can all be combined together. So all we do is combine, so 7 minus 5, that gives me a 2x, and we just keep the x attached. So you subtract just like normal, and then you will just put the x onto it because the variable stays with it the whole time. So now I have plus 4x, and that's going to give me 2 plus 4 is 6, and then I keep my x on it. And now we're going to do the same thing with everything without a variable. So those are our constants. So we have 3 plus 8 minus 1. So I'm going to do 3 plus 8 is 11, minus 1 gives me 10. And so now my new simplest form expression is 6x plus 10. And we know it's a plus because this was a positive 10. And so this is my answer. Your answer will look like an equation, it just won't have an equal sign at the end. And the reason that we can't solve for x is because we don't know what it's equal to. So let's look at a few more examples. So again, we are going to simplify the expression. So in this case, when I box and circle, both terms have an n on it. So those are already like terms. And so we're just going to do 6n minus 10n. And remember, we rewrite subtraction like that as 6n plus a negative 10n. And so now I have 6 plus a negative 10. Those are different signs. And so we are going to subtract. So 10 minus 6 is 4. We keep our n. And then it takes the sign of our bigger number. And our bigger number was 10, and that was negative. So my simplest form is negative 4n. For number 2, again, when I box and circle like this, you'll notice that we have two terms that both have the same variable. They both have an x, and they both have an x to the same exponent, which means that in this case, our exponent is just a 1. So we are going to combine like terms. So I have negative 10, oops, don't know what's happening there, negative 10x plus 15x. And so negative 10 plus 15, those are different signs, so I'm going to subtract. 15 minus 10 is 5. We keep our variable, so it's 5x, and it's going to be a positive 5x because my 15 was larger. We take the sign of the larger number. All right, so again, it looks like we have everything with a w. So all of these terms are like terms. So even though they're decimals, we can still combine them. So I'm going to first do these first two terms. So negative 8.5w plus 5.2w. And so we have to line up our decimals. These are different signs, so we're going to subtract. 5 minus 2 is 3. 8 minus 5 is also 3. And we just bring down our decimal. So this is 3.3w, and it's going to be negative because my larger number was negative. And then plus that w. And so now, remember, this has a 1 in front of it. So this is saying negative 3 3/10 w plus 1w. So these are different signs again. And so we are going to subtract. And we add a 0 whenever we don't have a number below or that's missing, because we have to line up those decimals. So 3 minus 0 is just 3. Bring down our decimal. 3 minus 1 is 2. And so my simplified expression in this case is 2.3w. And then it's going to be negative because my larger number was negative. Let's do the next one. So we have to box in all of ours with a G, all those terms with a G. In this case, they all have a G, so they're all like terms. So first I'm going to look at these two terms. So we have 2.4G minus 2.4G. So 2.4 minus 2.4 gives me 0G. And then we're going to subtract, I'll rewrite that for you guys. So we have 0G minus 9.8G. These are different signs, so we subtract and we keep the sign of our bigger number. And in this case, 0 minus 9.8 is just going to be 9.8, and it's going to be negative. And then we keep our variable. So pretty much what you can see here is these two cancel out because 2.4 minus 2.4 is 0, and then we're just left with negative 9 8/10 G. All right, number 5, box and circle, so everything with an M. And then we're going to circle everything without an M. So we have 7 minus 5 is just 2, M. And then we bring down what's left over, and since that doesn't have a like term, we don't actually add it to anything. So we're just going to subtract 6. But we can't do anything here. This is as simple as that can go. So my answer is 2m minus 6. And we can't subtract it from each other because this one doesn't have an m on it. And since this one doesn't have a variable, I can't subtract something without a variable from something that has a variable. All right, last one. So box and circle. So these have y's. So first, we have 26x minus 4x. 26 minus 4 is 22x. Then I'm going to do 2y plus 10y. 2 plus 10 is 12, and we keep our y. So now when I rewrite this, I have 22x plus, and we know it's a plus because this is a positive 12y. And this is my answer because I can't combine an x with a y. That's like trying to combine apples with oranges. They're different. So I have 22x and then plus 12y.